This podcast was created on the lands of the Ngunnawal people, the Wurundjeri people, and Ngāti Pawa. We acknowledge the contributions of Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander, and Maori people to making rugby league the greatest game of all.
You're listening to NRL Hellmouth, the podcast where we open up a portal to the rugby league realm to see what horrors and delights we can unearth. It's your friend Simon here, and in a world of skyrocketing house and fuel prices, it's nice to know you can still enjoy some things for free, including 40 to 60 minutes spent in the company of these guys. Daniel and James, hello.
Beanies and bucket hats, and wonderful to be with both of you.
Great to be here. Thank you, Simon. We're in the only sane place on this whole planet.
You can say that again, mate. Coming up later in the show, we'll be talking about the best rugby league songs and proposing a cure to the depressing problem of bye rounds. Let's open it up and raise some hell.
There's the kickoff. Let the party begin.
Like, I undeservedly apologise to everyone for my actions.
I didn't intend to disrespect anybody, and I definitely didn't do it on the car.
Well, I've been watching the Seagulls, and not one of them is eating. This is a horror movie. Rugby league. What else can this grand final provide?
To get stacked live on television.
Stop it, it's starting to hurt.
Now, round two's already a distant memory in our minds, but Peter Verlanders must be absolutely drooling at some of the big scorelines that came out of it. 40-6, 44-16, 46-20, 40-32. Oh, just felt a shiver of pleasure go down my spine. It was the second round in a row with an average of 50 points scored per game. Wow. And the average winning margin this year is sitting at around 19 points. The set restarts were through the roof. I've got some stats here, courtesy of the Rugby League Eye Test, which is an excellent blog for
Don't waste
rigorous...
any time, Simon. You're already straight into the stats that matter.
We don't muck around. Rugby League Eye Test, great blog for rigorous scientific analysis of the game as opposed to whatever this is. There were 92 set restarts in round two, the most of any round in the history of rugby league.
Wow, okay.
Gosh.
That is
Which, to be fair, they've only really been doing the set restarts for 6 years. But that's an average of one set restart every 25 play the balls, which compares to one every 51 play the balls last year. So almost double the frequency. I haven't seen this many sets of six being given away since my local hot cross bun factory went into liquidation. I think I must go a long way to explain these massive scorelines. So what do you reckon? Have we reached peak enshittification of rugby league, or have we still got further to fall?
No, I think there's a long way to go.
I think you're right.
But I did find myself, when I was watching a few of the games, getting incredibly frustrated by the six again calls, even if they were in my team's favour. Like, it feels very primary school. It's just very odd. It's like it's that roll-on effect. I tell you what I don't miss. I don't miss teams saying in the grind, because that irritates me.
Okay.
But I do miss the experience of a game that is a grind.
Yeah, okay.
And being enthralled by it. And that is, for me, much more interesting than watching a game that's just a bit of a back and forth.
Yeah.
And then you get a really big score like 52-36, or what we saw this week, which is blowouts. Yeah. That mean you don't really care about the last 20 minutes of the game or so.
Coaches, I think, would have taken the opportunity to actually just tap out of the rest of the game, probably on both sides of the ball. Just trying to preserve personnel and just trying to reload for the next week, because it seems like so many of those games were gone before they even reached, the final quarter.
There's a thing, it's sort of a meme that is Trump takes egg, and that was to do with egg prices going up in America last year. And I've just thought of a great one for league that we could try and get traction with, maybe put it up on the socials, you two, which is Peter takes grind. Do you think Peter takes grind could catch on?
I do, perhaps not.
Where's it gone?
Not in the circles that we were expecting.
Well, we can workshop it, but I like Peter takes grind.
I think they just blocked the site that hosts the video with that name in Australia last week. So.
Okay.
Might be good for our SEO if we're the top hit.
I'll test it over here. I'll get back to you guys next week.
I think it'll look great on a T-shirt or a beanie or a bucket hat. So, you know.
I'll put it on a T-shirt and then people ask me, are you Peter? I'm like, no. I co-host a podcast.
We love the brilliant Ryan Pappenhausen, but Storm fans might be asking the brilliant Ryan Pappenhausen.
Hey, on the flip side of that, I did like, we've been talking a bit on this show the last couple of weeks about rugby league enshittification, Vegas and all that sort of thing. But it was good to see Leichhardt Oval always turns it on at this time of year as sort of the platonic ideal of rugby league, notwithstanding the score, but packed house, beautiful sunny Sydney afternoon, everybody really into it, enjoying league potentially as it should be. So it was great to see that. And I was happy to see that the West Tigers really were inspired by their coach, Benji Marshall, and his terrible potty mouth. If you go to their socials page, it's a lot of inspirational talks from him, but it's F this, F that. I don't know. It might work initially, but if you're constantly grinding people down with your high expectations that they can never meet, I'm not sure if it's sustainable. So,
well, hang on. You were just saying we want grind. Is this part of the grind?
No, I don't want to be berated by my coach all the time about how if I don't like it, leave or whatever. It's good when you win, but as soon as you lose, you go, well, what's it to you?
It's a hard balancing act. Yes, that's right. You want to get those kind of old school values, but without the F-bombs.
Did you two both watch Friday night's Alex Johnston wonderful try?
Certainly
Two
did.
tries in celebration.
Yeah,
certainly
on the antidote to enshittification of rugby league, I thought. Wonderful moment. Great try. Hundreds, if not thousands of fans flooding the field despite the multiple warnings not to do so. What did you guys think? Great moment or disgusting display of criminal behaviour?
I would say more of column A. And just a little touch of column B. But I liked so many of the shots that were shared were careful to frame the warning of the venue up on the screen, saying, you know, that I think it was stating the severity of the fine and the possible jail term if people went on the field. But of course, you had a sea of people in the foreground, which made for a lovely frame.
Yeah, I agree. I wrote a couple of notes watching the game. The first one, which I won't get into now, I'm going to delve into it later on in the season, is South's away jersey is always a joke. Just leave that hanging there. And the second thing was that the Roosters Adidas jersey looked great. I don't know if you two noticed it. They're sponsored by Adidas. They've got 3 stripes on the left and right side, and it was a very smart jersey.
Oh, okay.
And then my next thought after jerseys and the celebration of AJ was the shimmer of control is obliterated. So what I mean by that is that you can have the warnings, the discourse beforehand, potentially being banned for 2 years, $5,500 fine, but they cannot actually stop us from what we want. And that is the big lesson.
This is fiery talk.
They cannot control
Starting a revolutionary
us and what the fans actually want.
And take note, Mr. Benji Marshall. James did that without any potty mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm moved. I want to get over that fence right now.
They can't control us. And you look at the Bundesliga fans, they often have great political statements by their super fans at the front and back of the field that say whatever political statement they might.
So is this the antidote to enshittification, James?
Yes.
Is actually taking power back to the people?
Absolutely. The sign will say, at the 10th, 6 again, we riot. And that's there from the start. And what are they going to do? Stop? They can't. There's suddenly 1,000 people on the field.
That is true.
Yeah.
Even if people don't believe in the political motivation behind it, people just love causing a little bit of
that's
bit
the
of
other
chaos.
thing
It's a bit of fun getting over the fence.
I think when you see all the people over the fence with their phones, a lot of young men, I think their lives are probably structured in a way that prohibits freedom. And this, again, was just that expression that will live with them forever. I honestly think most of them don't really care too much about Alex Johnston scoring however many tries he did. It's somewhat beside the point. The point was to get in on that field, and be part of a moment that is different to what you can achieve in your own bedroom.
Yes, absolutely. I was actually, when I was a young buck, I was attending a Fitzroy AFL game back in the 90s, and Tony Modra, who was visiting Optus Oval on that day, scored his 100th goal, and that's the tradition in Australian rules, is that you storm the field if someone scores the century. And we got on it, and we played kick to kick. We had no interest in seeing Tony or celebrating him. In fact, we probably were pretty unhappy that he had scored, probably, as was the tradition in those days, a lot of goals on our team. But it was a carnival atmosphere, and one that I'll remember for a long time.
I mean, is this an alternative to young men to keeping them out of the manosphere? Because you're right, James. Maybe they're bored. They don't feel like they're heard. And this is
nice
an
idea,
opportunity
Simon.
for
it's
them.
an outlet.
To let those feelings out in a public arena rather than staying in their bedroom watching Andrew Tate.
And, before you jump to conclusions and think that we're provoking some sort of over-aggressive masculine side of these individuals, I think once they get onto the field, they see other men there, brothers, they may say, hey, brother, then, there's something beautiful about that. And I think they actually will find a lot of
hug with
caring and love.
A group hug with 800 or 900 other, mostly men, centred around one great man, one healthy role model.
There would have been a
man.
lot of people out there that said, I love you, mate, during that time while they were on the field, in the melee.
Causing Alex Johnson not to be able to breathe and fear for his life, I think, for a good 30 seconds.
He did say that he was under significant duress at times.
Pressure.
Yeah.
From the throng. Yeah.
In the wake of that, did you see that the CEO of the Rabbitohs, Blake Solly, came out with a push to rename the Ken Irvin Medal? Of course, that's the medal that is awarded to the highest try scorer of a season. And his suggestion was to rename it in honour of Alex Johnston. However, he didn't go as far as to say that Ken Irvin's name should be struck from the award. He's just proposing that it is hyphenated, so it becomes, I think it was the Irvin Johnston Medal. I can see where he's trying to be diplomatic here and maybe shoehorn the topic without sort of rubbing too many people up the wrong way. But, when you start hyphenating, where do we stop?
Did you say Irving Johnson was Magic Johnson's real name, James? So that could be a bit confusing.
Irvin Johnston. Well, that's right. I mean, he's probably got enough medals named after him, old Magic.
True.
But I was looking at Sua Fa'alongo of the Melbourne Storm, who is off to a cracking pace. Not only is he just 22, and he's got himself 19 career tries already, but he's got 5 this season. So by the time he is AJ's age, I've calculated he'll be at about 550 tries. So once he sort of moves past that, are we going to go to the Irving Johnston Fa'alongo
when
medal?
Does it stop?
Then do we knock off maybe the third person gets struck off the name, and every subsequent winner then sort of bumps people down? What if Fa'alongo gets in between the two? Between Irvin and Johnston, will it be, nudge him in the middle? These are problems, and I don't think that Blake has thought these things through.
A lot of things to run through, a lot of possibilities.
Sometimes it's easy for us in the media who don't understand the complexities of what's occurred to sort of shit on things, say this is dumb, that's dumb, so dumb. But when you tease out an issue like you've just done, backed by science, you got your stats.
Yeah.
It's much harder to come up with the right answer. And it's much easier just to sit back and say everything's terrible. Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Solly went on to talk about multicultural round. He said that's rugby league, and it's particularly the Rabbitohs that no matter what faith, what demographic you come from, we've got a club here that wants to include you and you can belong. I was just wondering, does that also include breaking bread with Roosters fans? Or is that the one faith that is shunned.
I think a lot of the division we see in our society along lines of faith could actually be resolved if everybody hated the Roosters equally, and that is the world I dream of.
It's a good point, Simon. I think hatred is being too disaggregated between various teams, Roosters, Storm, Manly, probably Penrith, you know, whereas when you just have that one poultice,
the Roosters,
to put it towards, the Roosters, then it makes it easier for everyone. I was actually seeing on the Storm, because I think this is multicultural round, and the Storm have put out their multicultural round training top, and it starts off with a beautiful acknowledgement of country. It then goes into sort of a poetic account from various players about their cultures and the importance of it. So it's very deep. And the line that the Storm have used on their social site is strength in the storm, unity in the ocean. Shop our multicultural tea now. Handshake emoji.
It gets you in all the feels, doesn't it, James?
Absolutely. Again, though, merchandise is hard, Dan.
Yeah.
And I think, it doesn't work the whole time. I saw the Warriors this week, they put out, they had V, one of their sponsors, giving everybody ponchos in the game on Friday night. And the V poncho is the exact same colour as the Warriors green. So
Raiders green.
Oh, no, sorry, the Raiders green.
Yeah,
so everybody, they looked like there were heaps of Raiders fans there, but they were just in a free V poncho. It's not easy.
No, it is definitely not easy. And we saw that actually at Wynn Stadium. I'm not sure if you saw the Dragons. They were giving out free rally towels in their game against the Storm. This is sort of like if you're familiar, it's like a small towel that are used to motivate fans and sort of bring them out during try celebrations, sort of emulating famous textile-based fan campaigns that we've seen around the world. The most famous I can think of is NFL's Pittsburgh Steelers, and they have a well-known among NFL faithfuls terrible towels that they've swung around for decades. I think it was actually a charity innovation that came out in the 70s. Unfortunately, however, the Dragons, if your fans are anything to go by, they've sort of missed the mark. They're quite undersized. I don't think they forked out for the right specs, and they've sort of been left with some terrible, terrible towels, or perhaps maybe more so ferocious face washers, given the specs that we have here. They're sort of, I think they're 25 by 40 centimetres. And that's compared with the terrible towels of the Steelers. They've got a 40 by 60, which is something that you can really get some leverage into if you think about like how you can actually swing a towel. There was a
25 by 40. That's a hanky.
It's There was a promo video that went out with former Dragons hard man Matt Cooper telling you to raise the red in anticipation of the game. And unfortunately, if you peel back the sort of shallow depth of field and the text graphics and the close-ups on the knuckle tattoos, it's just a video of a man, albeit a hard man, just sitting on the grass in the sunny day waving a face washer, which is... if that doesn't make Dragons fans blow a couple of ventricles, I don't know what will.
So, Dan, is this the Dragons trying to create their own sort of version of the Viking clap as a fan tradition?
This is how it's being perceived. But, of course, you've got to start somewhere with all these things. Perhaps, the Vikings clap would have seemed a bit lame in its first iterations. But
I'll tell you.
Lame.
Between that and the giant horn that a B-grade celebrity blows before every...
Well, I'll tell you, as somebody who's been with the Raiders for the whole lifetime of the Viking clap, celebrating its 10-year birthday this month.
Is that right? Wow.
Yes, that's right. It is a very silly and ridiculous thing on an individual level, because you stand there, you raise your hands, and then you clap them together above your head, never in front, and you say, "Ugh, ridiculous." But in combination with 20-something thousand other fans, it becomes meaningful. It gets its meaning from that.
Has gravitas.
Yeah. So it becomes something special. Whereas I think it's greater than the sum of its parts. Whereas I think one person waving a red hanky versus 20,000 people waving a red hanky, you're not really gaining anything from that.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, when you get something like this that gets, not jammed down your throat, but at least it gets served up to you rather than it happening organically. I remember, like, Essendon and West Coast have a famous rival tradition where one of the coaches, this is, I think, started back in the 90s, where I think the coach sort of waved their jacket around after they won, and from that started this scarf waving tradition that the fans really get behind. And perhaps had Mark Gasnier come down from the stand and with a giant red beach towel and waved it around in celebration, then maybe the fans could have got behind it. But, as for the weekend just gone, the Dragons didn't have a lot of cause to wave their towels around.
No, and that's a good point, Dan. This is why I would actually like it if the Raiders gave everybody a green hanky, because then we could use it to dry our tears after the Bulldogs put 48 points on us this week.
Imagine my surprise when I woke up on Monday morning, and I don't know why, but I was delivered the news that the Wiggles, a novelty children's act from Australia with a global following, had recorded and released over the weekend a song celebrating Alex Johnston and his try-scoring feats. A song that I've now listened to probably 50 times. It's incredibly catchy. And one that gave me a bit of pause to think about the place of music within rugby league. So today I just wanted to recommend listeners get into the Wiggles AJ best try scorer in rugby league song. And maybe just get your guys' thoughts on where music and league is right now.
Give us a listen.
Okay.
It's got a little of that, there's a bit of bass there. It's sort of like the Viking clap.
Yep.
Kind of gets you in the heart. Oh, and there's that barnstorming Wiggles beat.
Now it cracks into it.
The greatest try scorer in the rugby league.
Fact.
Try scoring machine.
Yes.
In the red and green.
Yes.
Much love, buddy. He's the king of PFG. From the love of Panthers to the NRL. A First Nations leader and a family man as well.
Wow.
It goes on from there. You can stop it now, Dan.
Yeah.
Now, a few things that I just wanted to flag with you guys. One is that have you exposed yourself to the Wiggles lately? Have you engaged with the Wiggles cultural output in the last few years?
Ooh, I still have a quite young child. There was a time when they were sort of getting into the Tree of Wisdom, but in terms of cultural output, no. My knowledge is limited.
I wasn't aware of the Tree of Wisdom character, who is actually the singer of this particular song. And the Tree of Wisdom, for those who don't know, is an insane, deranged human tree
who's got moves.
Who has moves, who dances in a way that I find inappropriate for young children. A gyration of groinal areas and buttock that is probably disgusting for young children, and I'm glad that my own clan has aged out, as they say. So I was shocked by that, and I was also interested to see that the Wiggles Facebook page is a lot of parent adjacent meme talk, including my favourite. Here's to the parent reheating their coffee for the third time, ... And another beauty. Some days you're running a household. Some days you're running a dance floor at 6:12 a.m. Either way, you're doing amazing. Tag the parent who's already done 3 costume changes today. As that sort of content that does make me want to drive nails into my head. And just some advice, if you are reheating your coffee for the third time, just drink the motherfucker.
James, you're going to lose us a lot of listeners here. A lot of young families out there. Listen to the Hellmouth.
Anyway, that's this song, which I think is super awesome, was written by Anthony, the original Blue Wiggle, and primarily performed by the deranged lunatic, the Tree of Wisdom. Rugby league is known for for me at least, its link to music and popular music is quite strong. I think in future episodes we'll delve into simply the best. Some of the songs maybe that were performed by league players themselves, like E.T., Jason Martin. I think there's been some hip-hop recently. But there were two songs that I wanted to highlight. The first one, which seems to be the first real rugby league-inspired song, I think if you can cue that up, Dan.
Gearing up for the action. Feeling still the same.
It's by Danny McMaster, released in 1981. It's simply called the Rugby League song.
The mind is on the game. Play this game of rugby league. Some folks would think you're nuts.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of skill and just plain old-fashioned guts.
Ooh.
There you go.
I tell you what, when the beat dropped back in 1980, it was different. It was a different feeling altogether.
It's got a great little riff to it, but I feel like the lyrics is proof that we're approaching the singularity, because I think a ChatGPT has conquered time travel and sent its AI slop lyrics back to 1981 to Danny McMaster.
That's a good point, Simon. Another one that came out originally, maybe like 20 years ago, but had a reheating, was the Hoodoo Gurus' That's My Team. And if we can just give people a reminder of that.
So this was a recover made for rugby league.
Yeah. What's My Scene was the original.
And on it goes.
You don't see this same effect that much these days, that whole offering enough money to a band that could probably do with it to completely undermine the message of their original art, to focus it for a particular brand's outcome.
That's right. And famously, Rugby League had Chumbawamba.
Oh, yeah.
Tub Thumping, which is effectively an anti-capitalist song usurped by I Get Knocked Down Again, I Get Up Again, whatever it is, never going to get me down. But the beauty of that Who Gurus one, if you go back and you look at on YouTube for the second version of it, which came out in 2020 pre-COVID, I think I said to you guys how incredibly beautifully woke it was. Had a lot around the Indigenous connection to rugby league. It had two female players snogging, which I loved. It had iconography related to Muslim teams and players and a range of other things like that. And it did make me...
multi-sexuality,
multi-everything. Now, that's all over and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But it did make me miss those times where that sort of thing is palatable. And I went and I looked at the new Rugby League G-Up video for this year, which neither of you have probably seen because it's incredibly boring and didn't get much play. And it's decent, but it's solely about the emotions you feel as a fan, agnostic to your individual identity. And it is basically just 2 minutes of people watching a game of rugby league and players playing and the emotions that go on for it. It's fine,
but
it misses the mark. And it's I don't know, pause for thought, which is why I was happy to see the Wheels come up with the AJ Lee Try-Scoring Machine song, because it's a real feel-good hit, and I hope that it gets a bit more play throughout the season. So when I saw that 2022 video, the other time I've had that sort of emotion lately was with the Fox Sports Turnstile collaboration, where I think they got together with Warner Music and they whacked a Turnstile song to some people getting whacked around on rugby league, and that's enough for me, if you know what I mean.
I'm glad you brought up Turnstile, James, the Baltimore-based alt-rock / hardcore band. Which I'm personally a huge fan of. But yeah, I was a little disappointed to see that the collaboration with the NRL was just basically seemed to be that the NRL had filmed their Sydney gig and interspersed it with some game highlights to create an admittedly pretty good promo. But I was disappointed that it didn't involve Turnstile rewriting some of their songs to be about rugby league in the style of Hoodoo Gurus, That's My Team. And I thought, they're probably too principled for that. Fair enough, but then I realised that actually most of Turnstile songs are actually already about rugby league.
Right.
Just hang on a sec. So I've just pulled up the lyrics for the song Soul, which is the one used in that promo off the fantastic Turnstile album Never Enough. Just listen to these lyrics. Tapped out and tearing at the seams, dragged on the feelings in between. pulling on the people that you know, a lesson to be learned in letting go. Now, this to me is about knowing when to let go in a two-man tackle so your teammate has a chance to go for a one-on-one strip. A lesson that every rugby league player needs to learn.
Yeah, no doubt. It's pretty clear.
I'll just find another one at random. This one's called Sea and Stars off the same album. I've come to find it hard to know exactly where you are. You left me folded in the dark, and now I'm seeing stars again. Now, tell me this is not about getting folded by a high tackle and needing an HIA.
Do they specify late in the song and maybe the final verse whether it's a grade 1 or a grade 2?
So no, but the line "Now I'm seeing stars again" does appear 8 times in the song, which does speak to definitely category 1, 11 days sidelined.
Certainly.
But yeah, what this is all telling me is that probably V'landys should forget about the gaudy artificial glamour of Vegas and instead try and infiltrate the American market via the rawness of the Baltimore hardcore scene. I think if you put a couple of big forwards into the heaving mosh pit at a hardcore show, people will start to talk. Wow, who are these guys? They really sort of know how to handle themselves in the consensual violence of the mosh pit. They play this sport called rugby league. They're playing a game, this weekend. Rugby league, wow. Have to pay for a subscription to the NRL's international streaming service and check that out, and so on and so forth. And I think that's probably an excellent way to introduce our game to new markets.
It's been a while since I've been to a gig with you, Simon, but the discourse has obviously changed a lot during that time, and I've got to get back into the pit.
Hey, Simon, when you were reading those Turnstile lyrics, it reminded me quite a lot of Thomas Keneally, who, of course, had the famous Blow That Whistle Ref poetry-inspired rugby league G-Up video from 1999. So just a little personal request, if you could send me your best interpretation of Turnstile lyrics with a Thomas Keneally affect. And if you direct message me those, I would be a happy man.
And just while we're on the subject, I don't know if you guys realise, but the great Bob Marley also had some songs about rugby league too. I Shot the Field Goal, No Challenge, No Cry, and my personal favourite, Rabbitoh Soldier. Fantasy V'landys. Many of our listeners out there will know that physicists are trying to unify quantum mechanics with the general theory of relativity to create a theory of everything that will later allow us to basically know the mind of God. And I think that's more achievable than trying to understand what goes on inside the galaxy-sized brain of Chairman Peter V'landys. But occasionally us mere moles like to give it a go in this segment where we propose cutting-edge ideas to fix the game of rugby league once and for all.
What have you got for us?
This week we're going to tackle buys. The buy round is an unfortunate side effect of having an odd number of teams in the competition. It's terrible for that team's fans. I mean, we all know the misery that can come from your team having a buy round. And, of course, it's basically leaving money on the table for the NRL and its broadcasters. You're losing the game away, team sitting there doing nothing.
Now you're talking.
So I've got a solution, which I think you guys are going to love. Instead of one team being chosen to sit out each round, one team is instead chosen to play 2 games in that round. So you have one game on the Thursday night and then the second one on Sunday afternoon or Sunday night. Plenty of break. We all know players like to back up from a Wednesday night origin for the weekend. No trouble at all. Both of them are home games for the lucky team playing the doubleheader, so that makes it into almost a mini Magic round for their home fans, doubling the ticket revenue for the club and the stadium. I think to make it particularly interesting, if a team wins both their games, they get a bonus competition point.
Whoa!
Meaning that a team can come out of the weekend with an additional 5 points that they went in with. So potentially,
in this segment, we are used to...
Dan.
Oh.
Jape interference. Ding, ding.
Jay.
Banned again, Simon.
As you were, Simon.
So potentially leaping 4, 5, even 10 spots up the ladder with that 5-point win. I think that's great for fans, obviously, and an extra game a week will be just great for the next TV rights deal. Can you imagine the Fox Sports hype train rocketing down the tracks every single weekend talking about the team that are doing the double? So what do you reckon? Am I on to a winner here?
I really love it. We normally peddle in the insane and foolish theories here, the absurd, but that's actually quite a good idea. Yeah. Just bugger the Players Association. Let's just get this one through. You
just need a cheeky name, fun little name, double take, something like that. The 5 points on offer. And then you need everybody on Fox Sports and NRL, 9 payroll to get behind it and talk about it. And it is a winner.
Which they will. Yeah.
What about the long weekend? We sort of have a team that's on, say the Tigers, they're on their long weekend.
Yes, I like that.
Coming up. You can get maximum coverage. So between the games to sort of cover the rest and recovery and that opportunity when they're sort of backing up to try and capture that second win and that bonus point on the long weekend.
Love it.
Beautiful.
So anyway, we won't have buys next year because the Bears are coming in, but then after that we'll have the Chiefs joining and we'll be back to a number of teams. So I've got 18 months to iron out the details, Valandis, and this podcast is here to help you do that.
Yeah. And, sorry, Simon, get a betting company involved in it to sponsor that particular round.
There you go.
So one of our the champion of Australia, the champion of Australia, Peter Valandis, he's like President Trump.
Okay, now it's time for me to take care of a bit of sponsor business. We all love League and a good laugh out loud. Well, it's time to get floored by League's most bonkers personalities. Veteran 5'8", Daly Cherry Evans and super coach Michael Maguire, as you've never heard them before. Presenting 10 mad nights of stand-up comedy in their certifiably hilarious new show, Cherry Maguire, Show Me the Funny.
I just said to the fellas, I thought that might have been maybe the wettest training session I've ever been involved with. That was unbelievable. So that was as wet as it gets.
Hold on tight as these loose units show no mercy. Sides will be split.
And I was, on a boat, and mate, it was like a rock concert. Like anything, what you walk into is what you can become. So you don't even know it. But in about 10 minutes' time, you know what, they're going to get you. Obviously, pull off you.
Cherry Maguire, Show Me the Funny. 10 insane, uncensored and unhinged nights of comedy gold.
I just can't wait to see it again. We've got to get more tickets. I was rolling on the floor.
I came here on a date, but she left after 10 minutes because she pissed her pants from laughing so much. Even though I'm all alone, I know I'll treasure the memories of tonight forever.
But I guess there's also a part of me that really enjoys when I'm at the pub and you sort of start off just by wanting one, and then you sort of persist, you get a taste of it, and then you get more ambitious. But it's actually where you learn the most about yourself and what you stand for.
I went over there. I was over there on my own for 3 months because the family had to come over later, and what a town! Like that town just goes off. Just the whole build-up. Everyone's got to be swimming in the same direction. I literally sat for half an hour and just listened to the crowd sing.
Just awesome characters, great guys, and I could not stop myself from laughing the entire time. Highly recommended, fam.
Daly Cherry Evans and Michael Maguire, the kings of League comedy, will have you in stitches, trying to get air. Cherry Maguire, Show Me the Funny. 10 nights only, yada, yada, yada. Too much heavy call to action text down the bottom. But it's an exciting proposition.
Cannot wait for that one.
The reviews speak for themselves.
Must be hard for them to schedule that with Madge being up north and Daly being in Sydney. So the effort, definitely 5 stars just to make it happen. Sounds hilarious. I'm assuming, Dan, we're getting a bit more than just a couple of free tickets each to see one night of the show.
Oh, no, we're getting plenty of free tickets. Yeah. And they said from any of the 10 shows.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the actual, like, tickets is sort of a contra deal, but we're looking, Simon and I particularly are looking for a little bit more liquidity in what we're doing. Or
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind for the next round.
Okay.
So, yeah, get along. You'll have to find out the details. I can't be bothered mentioning them here.
What absolute madness.
Well, it might be madness, but I've enjoyed it, and I hope the viewer has as well.
That's because you're mad.
What?
You're mad.
That's a lovely way to go to a break.
Now, Daniel, last week you made some very insightful comparisons between the Cronulla Sharks spine and the Swedish pop supergroup ABBA, which I thought were absolutely spot on. And it helped me crystallise something I've had in the back of my mind for some time, which is that...
Do tell.
The Penrith Panthers spine reminds me very much of another famous foursome, which is the gang from Seinfeld. Nathan Cleary is obviously Jerry. It's definitely his show. Things always seem to work out for him, especially in Golden Point. Like Jerry, he's got a highly successful career and is often seen with a beautiful woman, although it's not always clear to the audience how he manages to pull that off.
Mary, don't lick the envelopes.
Lane is Blaze Talangi, Nathan's halves partner and platonic soulmate. And then our George Costanza at the back is another neurotic bald man, Dylan Edwards.
Oh, that is spot on.
And Dylan, if you're listening, I'm allowed to make that comment as a neurotic bald man myself. And Kramer is, of course, Mitch Kenny, the lovable hipster doofus with a wide variety of wacky hobbies and schemes. I like to think that he's often joined in these schemes by his curly-haired scrum neighbour Liam Martin, who Nathan hates and always greets by saying, "Hello, Martin." These four friends can often be found around Nathan's kitchen or in their favourite booth at the Penrith Leagues Club, obsessing over everyday minutiae and running afoul of social norms with hilarious results. But anyway, I thought it might be fun to see how these crazy characters might go in a rugby league-themed Seinfeld episode. So here's my pitch to NBC. Nathan Cleary makes a comment about the video ref's glasses. As a result, every time he does a captain's challenge, it goes against him. Instead of apologising, Nathan stops challenging altogether, even on plays where the ref clearly got it wrong. Meanwhile, Dylan Edwards, that's George, remember, is upset because he never makes it onto the Fox Sports highlight reel of a game. He starts putting in maximal visible effort on every play, chasing balls that are clearly going dead, trying to dive around the corner post on every red zone possession, and even sprinting to the scrum base so he can feed it before Cleary gets there. Blaze gets a lucrative sponsorship deal with BetterAid, a new all-natural sustainable sports drink. Unfortunately, the drink tastes terrible and Blaze much prefers the high-fructose sugar water produced by a multinational soft drink conglomerate. He keeps making excuses not to drink BetterAid in public, much to the sponsor's confusion. And Mitch Kenny comes up with a new business idea: full-body headgear. He keeps adding more bits to his prototype until he turns up on game day completely covered in foam and electrical tape. The gang's story arcs come together at Penrith's biggest game of the season. With the Panthers trailing by 4 points in the 79th minute, Dylan Edwards gets the ball, charges straight towards the opposition defence and attempts to leap over the tacklers. Incredibly, it works, and Dylan finds himself with a clear run to the try line. Of course, he heads towards the corner so he can do a spectacular dive into touch. Mitch Kenny, running beside him, frantically gestured towards the goalposts. Unfortunately, the bulky foam arm of his full-body headgear flies off and knocks the ball out of Dylan's hands just as he's about to ground the ball. The actual headgear falls over Mitch's eyes and he runs straight to the goalpost to get a grade 1 concussion. Desperate to make the highlights reel, Dylan begs Cleary to challenge the no-try ruling. "I need this, Nathan, need it!" Nathan reluctantly sends it to the bunker for review. Blaze Talangi appears in the background on one of the bunker's replays. A crowd gasps as we see him in slow motion, emptying out a BetterAid bottle and pouring his favourite mass-produced sports drink into it. The sponsors tear up Blaze's contract on the spot. Meanwhile, Dylan is sprawled out semi-conscious and the bunker rules against the Panthers, costing them the game. Nathan Cleary shakes his head as he surveys the chaos with a wry smile. "Shouldn't have challenged it," he says. Cut to end credits.
What an episode.
Man. Hey, Simon, these six agains are making me thirsty.
In the air! In the air! In the air! Goal!
Unfortunately, it's time to close up the Hellmouth for another week. Thank you so much for listening. If you know somebody who might enjoy this episode, please do share it with them and help us in our battle against the algorithms. And to take us out, as always, here's James's final thought.
You potentially are a rugby league fan. Be like Alex Johnston. Try-scoring machine, spreading joy, objectively seemingly a good guy. Fingers crossed it stays that way for the rest of his career. Peter take grind, but Peter don't take your soul. Rise up!
And raise the red.
For a long time I've wanted to do it. You go, right, boys, till you get it out of the field. Have a look at that. So it was pretty easy for me. I said, boys, have a look at this. So I looked at that, I just go, well, it went pretty hard early. And he looked at me and I thought he was going to kill me. But his eyes just rolled back. He's looked in and he played right in really deep. Felt the enormity of it. Blew him away. And he shook my hand. He said, I'll see you when you get back. So it was actually a really good conversation.